All right, so are we ready to start?
I think we are. It is 11:01 and I've recorded and if other people hop on, that's all right, but I think we're ready to go.
All right, so good morning, everybody. My name is Marie Davidsohn, and I am the Youth Services Librarian at the Aiken County Public Library. I am a firm believer in playing. Playing is how children learn. So in this picture, you're going to see a tower with blocks, as well as a giant teddy bear there in the background and about 3 cars back there. Prior to COVID, we had out what we called an activity center. This was located in our picture book room. Families could come in and sit down and play with various material with their children. Sometimes staff would not have a chance to go back in there and clean it up if our families had not right before we closed. So every now and then we would come in to the building and we would see structures that were waiting for us just like this, or the teddy bears or the stuffed animals would be out having story time in the library or playing school. And that was just really great to see for staff. We absolutely enjoyed coming into this kind of thing. So we're going to hit on several discussion points today: the importance of play, the importance of screen-free play, how we can support our communities during these times, and some resources. So as our budgets are being cut and many families are facing those financial difficulties stemming from COVID, keeping up with the latest learning material can come at a cost. They're so expensive, but there are so many ways that we can support learning that are inexpensive. And we're going to talk about all of these through our time today. So, if the screen changes. Here we go. So just a little bit about my educational background. I was going, my undergrad, I was going to become a teacher. So I do have quite a few teacher education courses under my belt. I was a preschool assistant teacher for about a year. And then I was a lead teacher for about 3 years. I did decide that teaching and being in a school setting was not where I wanted to be. So I pursued my MLIS, and I have been the youth services librarian, or in that kind of a position, for about 2 to 3 years now. So I have seen lots of play in many different forms. So in the comments, I just want you to go on ahead and drop in. When you hear the word play, what do you think of? What's the first thing that pops into your head? Let's see. Yeah, so I'm seeing fun. Definitely play needs to be fun. It should be. It's an important part of aspect. Video games, yes, video games do have a part in playing as well. Creating, yes, that is how we learn new things, is through creating and trying. Imagination is key. It is key to playing. Let's see. Change screen. Yeah. Okay. So there are just so many benefits of play. Let me go back here for a second. Where are my presenter notes? Okay, just bear with me for 1 second. I am still learning how to use this technology myself. So play is the work of the child. They're working on developing all of these skills. So play is not only an essential part of being a child, but for the growth of a child. My motto personally is play. If it's not fun, it's not messy. So play should be all of those things. It should be messy, fun, chaotic, engaging, and just so much more. So what play is going to look like really depends on the child. Every child is so different that the form of play, what they choose to play with, that's all going to look completely different. So there are so many benefits of play. And while all of them are important, I'm going to focus on the ones that you see here on the screen. So play really reinforces resiliency in children. It helps them to make sense of their world and their experiences when they can act out scenarios that they might have. Let me minimize this for a second here. Okay, so when they're acting out scenarios, they're learning how to cope and bounce back from something that they either experienced or they saw or they heard. And then it also helps to reinforce their decision-making skills. When they're not exposed to free choice play specifically, they'll have difficulty making decisions later on in life, and this can have detrimental effects on any career choices or just to their livelihoods as they grow older. And it also helps to build their vocabulary, critical thinking, and language skills. When children are vocalizing their play, and I know many of them do, I know I have some of my greatest aha moments or my understandings of things when I'm talking things out. So it may sound like they're talking to themselves, but you can always jump in there and fill in with the vocabulary words, or if they're pronouncing a word correctly, it might be a good time to go on ahead and just correct that now. So we're going to talk about the importance of free choice play. Children really need to make their own decisions when it comes to play. We do need to guide them sometimes in play, maybe give them some choices every now and then, but we really need them to let them pick what they want to do. So when we're given a suggested choice, how many of you feel like it can be an assignment sometimes? It can be like going out to eat or just having to pick out a movie, but sometimes those choices are not fun. It just feels like there's pressure on that decision and you have to make the right one or a good one. So this concept can also be applied to play. Not the right slide. So when they get to choose which form of play or which toy they want to engage in or with, they're more invested in this activity. They'll have more motivation and more inspiration to see it through. And it also makes them feel important and worthwhile as a person. And it's also so empowering to them if they can choose and make their own decisions. So if you guys want to go on ahead in that discussion question, just drop in the comments what was your favorite form of play growing up or during your childhood. So in my family and in my household, I grew up with 5 other siblings. So there were 6 of us all together, and my mom, my dad, and my grandma. And my mom and dad worked outside of our home, so my grandmother would watch us. And we would have so much fun going outside and just playing together. And for us, my dad collected scrap metal and he built sheds. So at one point we had like 3 sheds in our yard. So we would take our bikes and we would draw also with chalk. We would draw in the road, make a road in the road with chalk, as well as on our driveway. We would use that scrap metal as our dishes and our plates and our cups, and then we would also use the sheds as our houses and our bikes as our cars. It is important to point out that I grew up in a cul-de-sac, so we did not have cars going through, so safety was really not an issue in that aspect. But having that freedom, really, it created this close bond that I still share with all of my siblings today. Yes, I do remember going to the library and playing myself. My local library had puzzles and toys and all of that fun stuff. But it also helped us to create and learn to resolve our differences in a more peaceful manner, and just reinforced our thinking skills and our decision-making skills. So we are going to talk about, if this can move, screen-free play. So screen-free play is really important for everybody, even for adults. So we need to take away those screens so children and even some of adults can learn to overcome boredom. I know I will say to myself, I'm bored, and then instantly turn to that screen, watch TV, maybe get on the iPad or whatever device you have. And that's not necessarily always a great thing to do. Sometimes we need that boredom so that way we can just increase our creativity levels and our imaginations. And I'm going to switch back here for something. So it also gives our brain a break. When we're constantly looking at screens, our levels of dopamine are increased, and the dopamine is known as the feel-good drug, and our adrenaline is also increased, and adrenaline is what gives us energy. So we're constantly looking at these screens. We just have all of this energy that we're just going through, and it's not good for our bodies. With all of this going through our bodies, it affects every aspect of your life. It can affect your sleeping schedules, your work that you get done throughout the day. And for a child to constantly be exposed to all of this is really not so great for their developing brain. They really need these timeouts so that way they can work on all of these skills and just learn how to make decisions for themselves, how to get on a sleep schedule, and just all of that fun stuff. And also, screens do not replace the social interactions they need. Children need to be with other people so that way they can learn those social skills, picking up on those verbal and nonverbal cues. And we're going to move on ahead here too. So play-based programs are my personal favorite thing to do. They are easy to do. Sometimes it does take a little bit more staff time to put together, maybe a little bit more staff members to come together, but really for the parents and the caregivers with their busy schedules right now, it makes it a little bit easier on them. They have a little bit more flexibility in getting to the library when they know they don't have a specific start time and a specific end time for a program. The only thing is when the door is open and then when the door closed, as long as you get in between that time, you're not really going to miss any activities because we create stations in our library. So these are just some ideas that you can take with you. In December, we had what we called Winterfest. So in the left top hand corner, you will see a snowman with numbers on it. So that one we created out of poster board. Our youth services assistant drew the snowman, and then she typed up some numbers and just pasted them right on there. You can even write it if you'd like. And there are so many ways that you can use this. So what she did was we had these giant die that we had bought from Amazon for giant games that we did with our teens, and we took those out and repurposed them or reused them to go along with this. They went on ahead and rolled a number, and then they had to take a Post-it that had that number written on it, or they had to point to the number. But you can also do it with the Post-its. You can write out the number and have them match the numbers to what they see on the wall. The penguins in the kiddie pool you see there, this was an absolute hit with many of our little ones. Normally, when we put this out, we don't fill it with water. We just put it with the magnetic fish and other aquatic animals that you see and the fishing poles. I went on ahead and cut out different shapes from foam board, and I printed the penguins, and I just hot glued everything together. I will say this did not last as long as I was hoping it would last. Our program was for an hour, and I think because of the constant usage, which was a great thing, the penguins did not last long before they started just sinking to the bottom. But again, that in itself created a whole new learning opportunity for our kids. Don't skip yet. And then, yes. So the other picture that you see in the, let me just skip ahead here. The other picture that you see in the top right-hand corner is, this was a huge hit with all of our kids. We had one little boy who, if he could have stayed there the whole time, I'm pretty sure he would have. All we did was take a foam board and create a snowman shape, make some holes in there, and staple it to the bottom of that cardboard box. The purpose of stapling it to the cardboard box was to keep the balls more all together. And then we just created, the assistant went on and just printed out some snowman features and glued them on there. And as you can see in there, it is by color, so you can make your circles in there by color and have them do a color matching, or you can just have them go on ahead and just get those balls through those holes. They really enjoyed this one. This one was really fun. We are in the process of renovating our library. So we've been finding just random things that have been sitting around for a little bit. And one of those things was this cardboard tube that you see in this middle picture here. So what I've been doing is I've been taking things home with me, or in the library, just taking pictures of random things that we find and having our patrons just posing the question, hey, what would you do with this? So I made a ramp with it, and I told our parents what they can do with it, or our caregivers. And then I posed under that, what would you do with it? This generates different ideas that they can take from just one item. And then these condiment cups, I made into a matching game. But you can actually take the condiment cups and just give them to children and see what they do with them. I had actually taken these and given them to a friend's now 2-year-old, and I do like to sit and watch her play. I just learn something new from her every time. So she is not quite up to doing the matching part yet. However, she took the cups and tried to stack them, and she did take the lids and try to put the lids on as well. At another point too, she did walk around. She gave me, her mom, her dad, and my husband each a cup, and we had a little tea party. She then decided tea party was over, and she took the cups back and she put them in the sink. So this was just so interesting, and it's such a great way to really reinforce some skills that they're working on. And another activity, I have not done this yet, but one of my coworkers has suggested that we do a tape town. All you do is you take some tape, scotch tape or duct tape, and really you want to make it colorful. Just make rows on your floor. You can also use boxes and different kind of recycled material like that. Maybe make a store, a library. Use the boxes as cars and have the children go to town, literally. Let's see. So this is so important. Play is important for everyone. It is not just for kids. We tell our caregivers and our parents that we need to model reading. Why are we not doing the same thing with play? Play has been known to decrease stress levels in children, and it does decrease stress levels in all ages as well, our teens, ourselves. So these are just some things that we have done also at our library. So we have been running probably about once a year a program that is based on picture books. We have different material that we gather up and we just place it in a room and we base it off of specific picture books. So this one in the top left-hand corner, you will just see some boxes, some paper plate, straws, newspaper, and some cupcake liners. So this one was based off of the book Not a Box. And we just had our caregivers and our kids sit down and go on ahead and create whatever they want on these boxes. And I want to point this one out because at one point when I was observing what was going on in the room, the children were off kind of doing their own thing in a separate area. And it is important to note that everybody was contained in the meeting room and the caregiver still had eyes on their child, so everybody was fine. But the caregiver actually sat down and created her own box. And then the children she was with came over and also started making their own boxes as well. That was just really great to see them interacting and asking each other, what are you doing? How would you do this? In the bottom here, left hand, we had created another play-based program when we had the space theme for summer reading. This was actually created by one of our teen volunteers, and she had so much fun making this. So all it is, I don't remember specifically what that concoction in the middle was called, but it is just paint and glue that was mixed together. And it was supposed to form craters in the middle, or you could create craters in the middle. It didn't work out exactly as we thought it would, but the kids still had fun with it, as did our volunteer. And we had purchased some foam stickers, and they could go on ahead and make their own space art. Origami is so great for any age. Our adults really love doing it, which is what you see there. And then for the picture with the coloring table, we had a coloring table in our juvenile fiction area. And I noticed that many of our teens, while they were waiting on their caregivers or their siblings, they would often sit down to color as well. So we did wind up putting colored pencils and also some of that brown butcher paper into the teen room as well. But I noticed a theme going on with the kids. Adults would also sit down, and this one was actually from last October. Once somebody started drawing like one thing, I noticed that everybody else would kind of draw the same thing and just put their own spin on it. So you'll see lots of pumpkins here. This was also a great way for teens to connect with each other. In the teen room, we had teens who would write messages to each other or just general messages saying, you've got this, everything's okay, and just really positive affirmations like that. And I just thought that was so awesome. So what is your favorite form of play now, or your favorite toy? So I really love to garden, I love to make candles, and I love to bake. So funny story, my baking, there is a 50-50 chance that it is going to be edible by the time it gets out of that oven. My husband and I have now created this close bond because it's our favorite form of, it's now one of our favorite ways to connect is Marie's baking, is this going to be edible? It's just really fun, and it also has taught me perseverance. I know going in, maybe we'll be able to eat this, maybe we won't, but that's okay. I'm going to try it anyway and see how it works. So this can also be applied to children as well. So I want to talk to you guys about some of our STEM kits. So in regards to our renovation, we have been having to clean out all of our closets. So we have found some things, like I said earlier, that have just been laying around, and some of it's been there for a little bit while. So we just kind of wanted to also get rid of it. But during COVID, once that hit, we kind of felt like the kids were left in a limbo, as parents and educators had to make these tough decisions on their social lives as well as their educational lives. So we decided to put together some STEM kits. This would not have been done, or it would not have been, I could not have done this without all the staff that we had helping with this. So in this one, you will see one of our third graders. She really enjoyed this paper rocket, and you can find the activity at Paper Rocket Science Buddies. And I just typed up directions, put material in a baggie, and They could come and pick it up. We also did a scavenger hunt so we had 3 different grade levels or ages we were giving out for. We had ages 1 to 4, and then grades K through 5, and grades 6 through 12. And those were just recommended. Parents and caregivers know their kids best. They know what levels they're at. So they did not have to stick to that one specific age group. Because of budgeting purposes, we did ask that they only pick one for each child. And we had put these out starting in May all the way until the beginning of June. And we had prepped, bagged, and given out over 1,000 STEM kits during this time. And this was on a weekly basis. We would have these ready. So that scavenger hunt, we actually just put in a paper bag, that direction sheet, that was for grade ages 1 through 4. So they could go in or outside and go on a scavenger hunt. What can you find that are those colors? And then go back and talk about it. Get those language development skills in with your child. And that Yarn Star was actually one of our activities from our Winterfest. Our patrons really enjoyed this one, and it is a great and easy way to get out a STEM kit. So right now I actually have a bunch of cardboard left over from that. And I do have, because we've been getting in some of our material, we also have cardboard boxes at the library. So right now we are trying to get those into a little bit smaller, so that way they can fit into Ziploc bags. And then we are gonna do those directions, let the families go on ahead, you make whatever shape you want, and then just take yarn and you just wrap it around there into that shape. And then this was one of my favorite STEM kits that we gave out. So the sprout houses were not that difficult to put together. For time reasons, because I wanted to get this one out ASAP, I just went to Dollar Tree, Dollar General, Dollar Store, and I think I found a few at Kroger as well, and picked up just a ton of sponges. And then what we also did was I found grass seeds. I think it was for around $5. I don't remember how much specifically was in that bag, the ounce wise. However, we made over, I want to say 60 STEM kits by putting the seeds in a condiment cup, and then we wrapped that condiment cup with plastic wrap as well, just for safety purposes. So all they had to do was take the toothpicks, they could cut the sponges, and then just put your grass seed wherever you wanted on that and create your sprout house. This was a favorite of our families as well. And then, so we had closed during COVID. I believe we closed in April. I kind of lost all sense of track of time. And we had opened back up in early June, early June, or late May, something like that. But during the time we were closed, we took all of the supplies that we had available and moved it into our teen room. So staff could come in here and create STEM kits. So what we did, and you can see from that picture up on the top right, is that was where we kept all of our supplies. So we would take our supplies that we needed and group them together based on the STEM kit we wanted to make. And staff would let me know what ideas they had, and I would make up the direction cards to go into the bags. Doing it this way just made it a lot easier to get the supplies to each STEM kit and to see what we had left over. Staff was an essential part in making these and getting these together as quickly as we did. This boosted staff morale, and it just made them more motivated to go on ahead and suggest and just let our patrons know that, hey, we have these available for you. And most of the stuff is not that expensive. Whatever you have in your closets, honestly, you can just throw in a STEM kit. I'm actually planning for our April theme. I have been saving cardboard tubes and little jugs, like baking powder jugs, stuff like that. And I'm just putting them in a baggie, and the directions are going to be, what can you do with this? That's all the directions are going to be. Sometimes they do like more direction, but every now and then you just have to let them pick what they want to do with something. Let's see. So our family fairy tale STEM project, this one was put together by our headquarters staff. We couldn't do some of the things we were planning to do, so we had grant money, and this was a great way to get that grant money used up and offer something super fantastic to our patrons. They really enjoyed this. So all it is Legos that are put together along with different material in a baggie. And to further enhance that STEM kit, they were also asked to create a newspaper article in which our youth services director took those articles and made a little newspaper out of them, and then she put those out for our families as well. Our families really enjoyed these. However, because of the cost of these ones, these were a very limited supply. So building bridges is one of my favorites as well. All you need is tape and 20 straws. So we just actually supplied the straws, and we told, or we had our caregivers that we'll let them know ahead of time they need to provide the tape, as well as the pennies or just something else that would support that bridge. One of our coworkers, or one of my coworkers, absolutely loved doing these wax paper lanterns. So you do not have to rip out individual sheets of wax paper. I found on Amazon they do sell it where it's already pre-cut, and that was a lifesaver for us. So all you do is you take some crayons, and we had crayons that were well loved and well used, and I was planning on purchasing some after the renovation, new ones after the renovations. So we decided we would just throw these in with our STEM kits, and they could use them to create these wax paper lanterns. And then these straws, a staff member had these cups at home. She didn't have a need for them anymore, so she generously donated them to us. And we just put cups and straws for ages 1 to 4, and we suggested that caregivers poke holes into the cups and just let the kids try to put the straw through the cup. As you can see, our parents really appreciated this. Our STEM kits have been a huge hit. Various staff members came up with all of the ideas, either off the top of their heads, or they would actually go and do research on, we have this material, what can we do with it? So you don't have to do STEM kits to support your communities as well. There's just so many things you can do. And I know many people are not comfortable appearing on camera. You might not even have the technology you think you need, but I started out with just my cell phone. That is it. I originally started doing scavenger hunts. I did a gnome scavenger hunt, Star Wars scavenger hunt, just take pictures of gnomes, of anything really, and just hide it in your stacks. That's all you have to do. And then go around and take pictures, or not pictures, take a video, walk around and take a video and have them try to find it. You can offer a prize, you can do it just for fun, whatever you'd like to do. Motivation Monday has been a huge hit. I posted on our social media accounts, and all it is I was looking for a way to let our patrons know that everything's going to be okay, and we're trying to help you and support you, and we're going to get through this. So Motivation Monday, all it is a post just motivating people, saying you got this, or like a funny quote too, just to kind of make people feel better and lift their spirits. In order to increase some of our programs that I did see decreasing, like our 1,000 books to kindergarten program, I saw our numbers decreasing for that. And I didn't know if people didn't know about it or if they thought we were not doing it anymore because of COVID, but I started a new program called Library Chats. All I do is I just talk about an upcoming program or something that's going on in the library that I really want to promote or that another staff member would like to promote. Let's see. So Boredom Busters we did for a little while, and this was a big hit with our adults. We just took would you rather questions and put them up, or questions such as which book character would you rather have dinner with, or which book character would you have dinner with, things like that. It was really a great way to engage with our patrons. We're going to do pop-up story times, and cooking programs have also been a huge hit. All I've been doing for that one is appearing on camera so many times, it can be difficult. So it's okay for you guys to take pictures of things like for the cooking. I just take a picture of the process and I post it along with recipe. I throw in some pictures of my cats while we're waiting for food to cook and say, hey, go take a nap, or go do some coloring, or, you know, do some cat yoga while your food is cooking. And it's just been a great way for us to engage with our patrons. Let's see. Right now, we have Name That Creature going on for our teens. So all we did, we took some creatures like the penguin from Batman, Smog, not Edward Scissorhands, who's that other guy? Beetlejuice, creatures like that. And we have them up with just their picture. And teens have to guess what the name of the creature is. If they can guess the movie, the book, or the TV series it is from as well, they get 2 entries into a drawing that they will win a gift card to our local bookstore. So Play and Learn, this was a play-based program as well in the library that we offered when we were taking storytime planning breaks. But with COVID, it's not something we can offer. So I decided we need to take it online. All I'm doing right now is taking pictures or videos of myself, pardon me, or another staff member. We're just creating toys or games that that parents and caregivers can replicate at home. One example would be these letters. So I actually had created these as just like decor to kind of spruce up our area, and they just had different words like create, imagine, and they were just on our shelves. But now that they're falling down, I'm going to repurpose these and take these, and you can either do a letter matching game with them, color matching, or you can also go on ahead and print out or make different words that start with these letters and have them put those together. These are just paper mache shapes I found, but you can also make this out of felt. You can print it if you have to, write it on paper. So many ways you can do that one. Make a Mess is such a huge, huge hit, and it's absolutely one of my favorite programs as well. We did have families come into the library, and we would make things like Play-Doh, slime, and just anything messy. However, because of COVID, I wanted to continue this program, so we took it digital. So now the messes are usually in my kitchen, which it's fun. But we're still making those programs. It's not as fun, obviously, without the kids there, but we're making it work for them. Book bundles have been a huge, huge hit at our branch. It just makes it so much easier for our families and caregivers who don't want to bring all their little ones in and don't have time to sit there and look through a ton of books. We've been putting themes together of books. They can just take the whole stack out with them and go. Lego Club 2, we've been doing digitally. I've been telling jokes on Facebook Live. We're doing time challenges for that one. I'm also going to start doing book talks for next month's session. Now, we do have a branch that is reading fairy tales from a book. And then what I had also done was chapters. We read The Mouse and the Motorcycle, and then I think another book as well, right before school started. So how do we get all these ideas? I'm a firm believer in not reinventing that wheel. If it's out there, you may have to adjust it to suit your needs, but don't reinvent that wheel. All of our ideas come from other libraries. I do go through other library pages, see what you guys are doing, and take your ideas and tweak them to fit our needs. Blogs are super great because it's parents and caregivers who know what works. Use your collections. we have really been developing our STEM books. So we've been taking ideas from this as well. Staff members are a great asset in getting ideas out there. So we've have discussions with them. And this is the most important group to reach out to, your community members. So we're here really to serve them. And my thinking is we need to really be asking them what they want to see on our shelves, what programs they want, so they know they can offer ideas, and we'll try our best to make it happen. And with that, I'm finding that our community engagement and our patrons, the number of patrons who do come to our programs, are increasing. So going forward, right now, our monthly STEM kits are not offered weekly; they are offered monthly, and they have 1 to 3 activities inside. We have decided for time purposes that instead of at the beginning of the month, to put them out mid-month, and they are available until supplies last. So we make roughly, through a lot of observation of how many kits get used, we're now doing 50 kits for grades K through 5, 40 to 50 kits for ages 1 to 4, and 30 kits for our teens. And we decided to offer these mid-month because I found that a lot of our deadlines, even with staff, so many staff members helping to make these, our deadlines were all centered around the end of the month and the beginning of the month, and it was a lot of pressure on us to try and get these out to our patrons, and they love them. They come in and ask for them, and it's been a huge hit. So the biggest questions we're facing right now is, will we continue these in a post-COVID world? What is your thinking? Are you guys going to continue some of what you've had to change and adjust? These STEM kits, while they may not be offered on a monthly basis, it is something I do plan on continuing. I'm just not sure what that's going to look like yet. As well as our digital programs, I'm not sure what that's going to look like, but I definitely do plan on continuing digital programs. Our teens really are engaging, we're engaging more with them. I do want to point out, if you do not have a policy on how to handle inappropriate comments on your social media accounts, or when you're doing your digital programming, this is something that you may want to work on and develop. We actually, in my last Lego club, we had somebody who did post, I think 2 people who were just kind of odd, and one was definitely inappropriate. So that really was like, oh, hey, we really need to get a policy down on how we're going to handle these in the future. And then the most important thing, and take care of yourselves. You can't pour from an empty cup. Really make sure you're hydrating yourself throughout the day. Take your breaks. I know I am so guilty of feeling all of that pressure, like I need to make the world better. I have to help everybody, and you can't. Like, I know it's a little bit of a Debbie Downer, but you can't save the world. You need to take your breaks. You're a human too. I know, I think I've come to a point where I'm just acknowledging what we're experiencing. So that's been a little bit difficult, but you're a human too. You have families, you have lives. You need to take care of yourselves as well. And key thing here, make sure you go outside once in a while, get away from your computer screens as well, and get some sunlight. I know there are days where I'm looking at my computer and then I go outside and it's kind of like a vampire experience, like, oh, the sun, even if it's not that bright out. So make sure you guys are taking care of yourselves. And then these are just some the references that I've used. I highly recommend you take a look at The Power of Play. It's this one right here. Because of that renovation, I am looking to just get some new ideas on how we can really make our space just more engaging. And this one has just offered really great ideas on not just how to redesign the space, but on conversation pieces as well. And then those are the other really great articles and a website that I highly suggest that you look into reading. Do y'all have any questions for me? Come back. All right. I am going to go on ahead and switch a screen here. There we go. So as I said before, I am all about sharing and taking my ideas from other places. So I am always open to sharing my ideas as well. You can find any information or any programs that you're interested in doing. Go on ahead, look at our website. Feel free to steal my ideas. We have a YouTube channel. You can find us on there, our Facebook or our Instagram pages. I do want to make one point too. Reach out to your local businesses. They may be willing to help you and partner with you for maybe some walking type programs. We are doing a character walk. So all I did was I went on Canva and I designed different chapter book characters and picture book characters on Canva. And I reached out to local businesses downtown, and I've heard back from many who want to participate in our character story walk. I'm going to create a sheet in which it just has the picture of the characters, and the assistant said we should give them a map because some of the businesses, when we were actually walking downtown, we discovered they were not so obvious. So we're going to make a map kind of highlighting where they can find the pumpkins. And then grades K through 5 can enter to win a gift card for a local bookstore if they can find X out of X amount of pumpkins. And our local businesses are really excited to partner with us on this. It's a really great way to get them outside, get them walking, and just really reinforce that family bonding time. Thank y'all so much. You can also call me and you can email me. I am just open if you have any questions, if you want me to share anything that I've already created. I'm all about making your lives easier as well. I'm more than happy to share anything I can offer.
Thank you, Marie. This was really great. I learned a lot. I do miss working with kiddos. I work at the academic library, but this was awesome. Makes me want to do some play stuff with our college students. So thank you.
Oh yeah, playing is fun. Anybody have any questions?
I don't see any more questions in the chat, so I think this was great. Thank you so much. And your recording will be up online so everyone can see all the amazing examples that you did later on if we forgot everything. So thank you.
Oh, awesome. Thank y'all guys. Everyone have a great day, and don't forget, take care of yourselves.
Thank you.